Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of Soulfully Guided. I'm your host, Carmel-Anne, and as always, a huge shout out to our network, A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. So, as we're progressing through my hosting experience, I've learned so much from the network and being able to present, and I found myself trying to navigate out of the stage of trying to rehearse or memorize things or create, things that sort of complicate a simple process as presenting online. But there is, and live to air. So there's a big process about it for me anyway, in developing my confidence, as you would have heard in Stephanie's story and my story, being gifted children, which is the series we're doing today. So we're doing an informative series. And basically I want to say, I'm winging it. I've thought of a topic, but I haven't thought what I'm going to say, and I hope it comes out to you in a non-jumbled and clear way, because obviously I don't know about other hosts, but presenting is I've learned how to comfortably be outside of my comfort zone. So as we progress through the Gifted Children series, we've provided you with another host experience, which we found similarities and themes between their life and my life, and also differences, which I'll go on to say in future shows. But so today what I wanted to do is, you'll notice that the communication lacked now, and the way to communicate with a gifted child, because not everyone is an expert spiritualist, and not even an expert in a modality of spirituality is not going to be an expert of every single type of modality or type of gift there is out there. So ultimately, not forgetting, you are the expert of your child or the children you look after. And what I wanted to share, so we've given some experiences and some funny stuff, and we'll go on to see some not so funny stuff and challenges, and some moments that actually really saved my life. Now, we mentioned that if a child is shocked enough and able to shock the gifts out of them or block them, sometimes that means they can't do what they were doing. But it doesn't mean they still don't attract things or radiate that sort of way. So, if you're an empath, you might block off your deep feeling, but at the same time, people feel that you're compassionate. So it's sort of still difficult to completely block off. And you can understand the innocence of a non-traumatized child, and a child that gets to enjoy their childhood with love and healthy relationships. There's such an innocence and beauty about them. And we also touch that you're not going to have one big defining moment that says this one moment, oh my goodness, my child is gifted. It's going to be a little series of things that lead you to the conclusion. Now, I've written them down because I know what they are, but live on air, I might jumble it or confuse it. So I think with communication, I wanted to give some tips. So we're looking at clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, clairaudience, which is clear hearing, claircognizance, which is clear knowing, clairsentience, which is clear feeling, clear empathy, which is clear emotions, and clairgustance, I think it's pronounced, which is clear tasting. Now, the reason why I'm going to say that, I'll make clear shortly, so we don't need them anymore. So as you develop your gifts as an adult, you can sort of exercise them and expand them. They seem to come more naturally and uninhibited in children, but yet as an adult, you have more of a degree of trying to explain it or understand it because of your worldly experience. Doesn't mean you 100% have control over it. You try to develop that boundaries and clear understanding, but it doesn't mean you have 100% of the information. about what you can do and how you do it, always available. Um, as a child, there's not that level of control. So if your child is gifted and they want to switch it off, a simple technique is maybe to wear a bracelet or have a keyring or something that's really easily accessible and unnoticeable, and they can say, when I'm wearing this, or when I have this in my hand, or when this is in my possession, I don't, that they're switched off and not disturbed, and always using these techniques. As we say that you're the expert of your child, we want to use communication that is developmentally and age friendly for your child. So um, I don't know 100% that my children are gifted. I am I'm at the point where I can see that they are, but I need clearer and stronger foundations to build that. Now, I'm not going to push them to be gifted or to use their gifts, but I am going to try and understand it. So maybe these techniques could help you and your experience, because we're all learning. And each child, even though may have the same gift as someone else, the way that it presents to them and the way that is constructed in themselves is actually quite different, just like two adults can have two gifts, but the way they deliver it is unique to them. So both my children are empathic, and I think the 2-year old is incredible with all bugs, insects, nature, and with animals, as not limited to cats and dogs. Like, she's just amazing. And there's this sort of this deep understanding and attraction to each other, and this calming sense when she meets, like, it's incredible. And I can see, sort of, because I'm not familiar with and have never used an animal, someone that specializes in spiritual gifts around animals. So it's quite remarkable to see the energy exchange between my 2-year old and our puppy, or strangers' puppy, which she has to stop and talk to every dog she sees. There is absolutely no fear, and it's just complete love. So as she ages, there might be ways that, and I'll show you in my 6-year-old, that we could speak of. So when it comes to gifted children, regardless of whether you want your child to be gifted or not, I encourage you not to push them or to ask directive questions. So keeping them open-ended in a sort of role play type question, whether it's seeing, what do you see? And what else can you see? So for example, my 6-year-old, when she was used to going for massages. So this was one of the moments um, where I realized, yes, okay, she's got it. So, but obviously I needed more exploring, and we went to get a massage in a particular shop. And so she'd been for massages since she was a newborn. So she obviously knows what's in the room. So it was at a wellness shop, like a spiritual shop. And she said, "Oh, I want to go in that room because you've got," and she started to describe that the bed was in the room. So rather than direct her and sort of give her hinting questions, like directive questions, and sort of, creating the answer for her, um, we sort of said, the lady looked at me and said, "Oh, wow." And I said, "Oh, what else is the room? What else could be seen in the room? I haven't been in that room. I'd love to see it." And she said, "Oh, Mum, so rather than, we ask in a way that opens them up without their guard up, because, if you're a child and you can see things, um, you're going to feel kind of weird, like myself and other readers have sadly felt as children. So you might be holding back and you might feel discouraged to say something because you're different to other people, and, especially as you start to grow." So my daughter started to describe specific things that were in the room that she'd never been in. And the so it was it was it was clear enough at that stage that the spiritualist serving us thought, wow, okay, would you like to see what's in the room? And there it was, as she described. So we asked for finer details with it without sort of interrogating or, pushing the answer out of her. It was more of a fun questioning. Oh, can you tell me more about that? What else is there? And, oh, how can you see that? How do you know? So you're actually developing more of an understanding of your child, but also, or your loved one, but you're also creating a healthy relationship. So you get an idea of what they can do, because there's probably more than that they can do. So having those conversations without without putting the hard word on them. I also find that my 2-year-old is an empath and my 6-year-old is an empath, but my 6-year-old holds it like that I had to learn a lot over a long period of time. I hold it in a depleted way, but our 2-year-old holds it like a boss. So understanding the difference between the two, and, asking those questions about what do you see, what do you feel, what can you taste, and trying to sort of elaborate on their own experience from their own words. And I really do hope this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I think this show will go for a little bit longer. And I'm wanting to give you information from the heart rather than research it, but also provide depth. So please do tune in and watch us next week, which will go over this and other topics as the weeks progress. But also, if you want to watch our previous shows, we're open to any questions that anyone may have if you forward them through. And I'll gladly have a Q&A session. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you on listening to such an important, integral part of our children's lives, and an important topic. It's been great, and I'll see you next week.